Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Late Night Useless Thoughts with Show. And as usual, I will be rambling on about useless things that don't really have any significance, and hopefully you'll listen it to sleep. I am currently working on another video that has nothing to do with this series. It's about common worries that we might have that is shared among people. And if you're interested in those kind of stuff, then feel free to check out those videos as well. It will be uploaded sometime this week, but I'm not sure how long it's gonna take to edit. So today was another normal day. It's a Sunday, so I decided to take things slow. And the weather was a little bit cloudy, so I did take a walk, but it was a little gloomy and very cold. It's winter here, and I didn't wear enough, so it was quite lonely and quite cold. Anyway, I wanted to share something interesting that I came across today. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos because that's what I like to do in my spare time. And it came to the topic of mental wellness, and I stumbled upon this huge creator. He's very famous, but he's called Healthy Gamer GG. Everyone calls him Dr. K. He's a psychiatrist who does streaming. He's a gamer, but then he does a lot of these psychological explanations, lectures, and I thought that was very cool. And I was watching a couple of his videos, like being raised by narcissists, or like having anxiety, how we should focus on intrinsic motivation more than extrinsic motivation. But I really wanted to focus on the concept of, what is it called? Puella Eternus? No, Puer Eternus. Yes, Puer Eternus. So what it basically is that Puer means a child boy, and Eternus means eternal. So it means these adults, when you call someone a Puer Eternus, then they are forever a child. And it doesn't mean like they're a man-child or anything. It's just that they have this childlike imagination that keeps them stuck. For example, let's say you dream about something and you feel like you can achieve many things. But then once you pick something, you feel like you're closing doors on every other opportunity. And that is one less potential that you could have chosen. And this forms some sort of decision paralysis. And what it does is people cannot make sacrifices. So it becomes this huge ordeal where they won't be able to move on with their life because they don't know how to just let things go and move on and work. And working isn't the solution either, because Puer Eternus, what they would do is they would avoid hard work to do easier work. They would do anything to avoid doing whatever they don't want to do. And an example given was that there was a man who liked hiking, and he didn't want to carry his knapsack. So what he ended up doing was he went all the way to the point of training for yoga, yogic breathing. He trained sleeping outside just so that he can hike without bringing stuff. So Puer Eternus is capable of doing many things. It's just that they don't know how to sacrifice the choices and they're stuck in life. And at first I was thinking that sounds quite odd, but I thought for a second and it actually applies to me. I would like to think that I'm not a man-child at all. But I am looking for employment, but there are some parts of me that are scared of what the future might bring. I'm currently studying for a certificate in IT. It's called CompTIA A Plus. It's the baseline. It's like the very bottom entry level certificate. It's not really a big deal, but I'm getting there. And I started making content, and I'm not taking content too seriously yet, but I eventually do want to switch over to content creation at one point if it does become sustainable. And I guess my fear is that I've always lived a life where failure is not allowed. My mom has been very strict. I'm very scared of failing in my life. And especially after the work drama that happened in the last episode, if any of you listened, after being almost being exploited for my work ethic, I have been thinking that maybe hard work isn't the answer, and maybe my career path lies elsewhere. But that is not true, because I do want to go into tech. I've always wanted to go into tech, ever since COVID at least. And eventually I want to climb up the social ladder. Not the social ladder, career ladder. Sorry, career ladder. And it really made me think that I do act like a child sometimes. Not that I'm childish, but I am very curious about many things. I actually struggle to start many things. I struggle to keep something going. When I hit a brick wall, I tend to be discouraged and not continue. And I thought it was just a me thing, because my mom would always tell me that I'm being lazy and being useless. And it stuck with me. And I watched that video and I read his subreddit, and it turns out it's not just me. And that actually connects to this very interesting theory by Jung called collective mentalism? Called collective subconscious, or collective consciousness. So it's basically an idea that everyone is somehow connected to each other on a deeper level. So while we don't know each other, and while you and I have nothing to do with each other, there is always some kind of deep connection that we might have. And for me, that was prayer eternus with the other members of his community. And I learned that I'm not alone. And that made me a tad bit feel better. And he did a lecture of how to fight through this. I will link his video in the description. I feel like it's a very worth watch. But basically he doesn't give any advice, because if he gives any advice, we won't be able to follow. At least the pure eternus can't. So what we have to do is look inside, look into ourselves, and really work on trying to find a way to sacrifice, learn to make a sacrifice and move on with life. I think that is why I've been unemployed for so long, and will continue to be if I don't change something about this. I'm a little worried, but I think I got this. I think so. Yeah. Well, if you follow the series, then you'll find out. But right now, I feel a little bit more motivated, and I definitely feel better that I am not alone in this. And also ties with motivation, right? It's really hard to be motivated nowadays, at least for me. And it's because I function on deadlines. If there's no deadline, then I don't know when I will complete it. And I'm struggling a little bit with this, with the certificate I'm studying for. There's no deadline for this. I just need to take the exam by the end of this year. It's definitely easy. It's not the hardest exam there is, but there is some part of me that is putting it aside a little bit, which is not good. And I hope I get to work on it because I'm motivated. what I wanted to talk about is that there's like a very interesting thing about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And extrinsic motivation is basically when you are motivated by external factors like deadlines, pressure, stress. And intrinsic motivation is the one where you are motivated by yourself. So you do it because you want to do it. So in my case with this series, and at least YouTube for now, it's only been a couple of days, but it's definitely intrinsic motivation for me. I feel better talking about my stuff, and hopefully people will fall asleep to me rambling nonsense. And I hope that they find some comfort in it. But for me, intrinsic motivation is very hard. And what's interesting about this is that extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation are mutually exclusive, which means they can't happen at the same time. Apparently, when you look at the brain, the parts that light up when you're intrinsically motivated is completely different from the ones with external motivation. So it means that if you are externally motivated, you cannot be internally motivated, and vice versa, which I thought was a really, really cool fact, because that explains why I at least struggle to meet goals where they don't have deadlines. Yeah. Isn't that so cool? I think about brain stuff, and I used to take psychology in high school, and I always thought it was interesting. I'm not sure why I decided not to pursue it, but whenever I read about them, I always get mind blown. And it's crazy that these theories and these studies have been conducted way before our time, and they're still relevant to this day. I mean, a lot of the experiments they did are so inhumane that they shouldn't be done nowadays. But it's very cool. I think it's very, very interesting. It's actually not too late right now. It's around 12 a.m. It's a little earlier than yesterday. But I kind of ran out of things to do today. It is a Sunday after all. And I was playing some games, but it's not really sparking the joy that I used to have. At least when I play alone. It's really dull. And on top of that, I had horrible games. I'm not sure if any of you game, but you know those days when you have horrible games and you don't want to touch that game ever again? Yeah, that's me right now. I actually played a couple games of Overwatch, and oh boy, it was not fun. I did get a couple wins, but that's about it. Another thing is that I kind of had the existential crisis today, mostly because, especially before the video, actually also after the video that I watched, about how I'm gonna be stuck here and I'm not gonna be able to move on. Well, I did say I got it, right? I did say I got it. But it's just scary, isn't it? I don't know what the future holds. And I think this is gonna be a continuous theme that might be appearing in my talks. But I hope people can relate to this. I'd like to think that I'm not alone in this. Because right now I feel very alone. Just trotting in darkness with nowhere to see, really. I've heard people tell me it will get better, you will figure things out. But it's looking very grim. And especially I learned now that I am a queer Eternus. Oh man. Hopefully hopefully I can get there. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you were at least entertained by my little fact that I gained today, or this knowledge that I picked up from Dr. K. It's not really my information, but I thought it was a very worth sharing. I think it's a self-conscious thing that people should be aware of. I think it is a very useful information, even if it doesn't apply to you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my talk today. It's a little shorter than yesterday, I think, but I did try my best to talk as much as possible. I promise it will get longer and longer. My goal will be 30 minutes, and then after I hit 30 minutes, I would like to get it up to an hour, so that it will be an hour-long peaceful talk without any interruptions, and hopefully people can fall asleep to this. If they can. I'm not sure if they do. But I hope my subscribers can, and I'll try to deliver that. So until tomorrow, I hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you for spending time with me, and good night.